Hello everybody, and thanks for checking out my review. Today I'm going to be going over the Casio G-Shock. This is the GMW-B5000V, and if you wanted to look up the instruction manual on this, just do a Google search for Casio Module 3459 to download the instructions, and of course I'll leave the direct link in my description. So getting into the unboxing, it's a plain black box. It's got the shiny logo on the top, along with the Casio logo on the front. And opening up the box, you have instructions and the paperwork on the side here. So going into that real quick, what you'll see is the warranty card. You have the solar and the FCC information because it's Bluetooth. And of course you have your instruction manual in multiple languages and then the links. And going into the box, you'll notice that on these special edition squares, they have a nice finish on the top here, and it typically kind of goes along with the finish of the actual watch, which is really nice. So going into the box itself, once again, it's plain black. It's got a nice look to it, though. It's good premium packaging. And opening up the box, you have the tag, which of course gives you the barcode, the module, and the model. And of course, you have the watch. Alright, real quick, before I begin, during the video you're going to see my logo at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Click it if you like what you see and subscribe. Hit the bell for notification of future reviews. I have a lot of great content coming up this year. And please leave any questions or feedback in the comment section. I always answer as much as I can there. So getting into the physical walkthrough of the GMW-B5000V, the V stands for vintage, which is black IP aged patina finish. So if you look around here, you'll notice that the case, the bracelet, they did in the manufacturing process here some kind of an aged look. It's not even rough though. That's the interesting thing about this. It's actually pretty smooth. That goes along with the other ones going through here. But it really is a nice finish here. It's almost like a gunmetal to a degree. So it kind of matted out the entire thing. So this really completes my square collection in my opinion here. Of course you have the negative screen, and the negative screen on this is really impressive. It's very legible. It's, you know, they've come a long way over the years, and every time I think that they've improved so much, they improve that much better. So I really do appreciate how they did the screen on this. And on the rear, when you look at the screwback design, you'll see that what they did was a black DLC finish on that as well. So it's a high polish, and it just gives you information about the watch, of course. And then, of course, on the clasp here, you have the scissored clasp with the fold over. So that's the physical walkthrough. Now, like all G-Shocks, this is 200-meter water resistance. You have tough solar, multi-band 6 to sync with the 6 towers around the world if you choose not to connect to a smartphone. Of course, you have Bluetooth to connect to the G-Shock Connect application on Android or iPhone. You have 5 world times, 1 100th second 24-hour stopwatch. You have the 24-hour countdown timer. You have alarms, the LED super illuminator with auto on function. So you'll see what it looks like right here. So this is a very rare non-numbered limited edition. Just like the titanium, I mean, they put out limited quantities of these, and I really do wish for just a collectible value that they would number these. It would be, you know, appreciated from, I think, a lot of collectors. Now the case and the bracelet are full stainless steel. Casio put a resin cushioning material between the case and the bezel so that the module sits in a protective shell. The lugs feature a 3-pronged structure which are held together by a screw for impact protection. The only pain about it is it gives you limited movement, so you don't have the flexibility where the lugs are. Alright, so now to walk you through the modes, what you do is press the bottom left button there, and that'll get you into the world time. And the world time, of course, features 5 time zones around the world, and they're numbered there. And it also has a scrolling feature in that box, so this way it's easy to read what country you're in. So if you wanted to change in each location what country you're going to, all you have to do is press the up and down button here on the right side, and that'll move you up and down to get you what country you want. And then if you stop, you'll notice that scrolling that I was just talking about. So you stop it at Kabul, you press the top left button, and that of course keeps it set for you. Go into the alarm. You have 5 different alarms, with the 5th one being a snooze. And then you have the hourly time signal. And to toggle back and forth between each alarm, you just press the setting button on the top left, and that will toggle it on or off. And you have the 24-hour stopwatch. It's 1/100th of a second measuring. And to start it, you just press the bottom right-hand button. To stop it, you press it again. And then, of course, if you want to reset it, you press the setting button on the top left. One thing you'll appreciate also is the time is always displayed in the box on the top right there. 24-hour countdown timer. And to set it, what you do is to press the top left. And this way you can go up and down, once again using the up and down buttons on the right side. And that'll set the hours. You press the mode button, that'll set the minutes. Press the mode button again, that'll set the seconds. Press it again. And you're set. And then to get it started, you press the bottom right hand button, and that starts the countdown. To stop it, you press it again. And then to reset it, to start it over, you just press the top left. And that's it for the modes. Now to get into the settings, what you do is you press the top left, and it'll tell you when it's ready to go. So the first thing that you're going to have is the time zone that you're in. So you can go up and down to set that. I'm, of course, in the New York area. You press the mode button, that gets you to the next second, and that is the auto daylight savings time. Press the mode again, and that takes you to the seconds. So you can set the seconds, restart it. Once you get past the 30 seconds, then it usually moves the minute up. Then you can change the hours, the minutes, the year, the month, the day of the month, 12 or 24-hour format. Then you could change the format of the month and date. Then you could change the language. You could change the key tone, so this way it'll mute it, or every time you press the button, you'll hear the key tone. Then you have the light, and you could change it to 2 to 4 seconds for the time that it's on. You have the receive time, so it tells you the last time that it received the time from the atomic or your cell phone. You have power saver on and off. And that's it. So that's walking you through the watch itself. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the application. So you'll see the little animation there for the G-Shock, and it'll take you over to the world time screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the top left hand where you see the little clock logo, and it shows you the previous registered watches that have hooked up with this application, which is great. So you can switch them manually. So what you want to do is go into the guide section here, and it'll instruct you to press the mode button, hold on to it for 3 seconds until you see the confirmation on the watch. And once you see the confirmation on the watch, you'll see it connect to the application. And once you get that connection, it's of course going to give you the confirmation that they're hooked up. And now we can go in and we could change some settings here on the watch. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the guide. So you can go into the guide and it kind of gives you a digital manual on how to work with the watch. And going back in to the world time. This allows me to change the time zones around the world. So if I do a lot of traveling, I can do it manually. So if I wanted to put in for Beirut, I can click on Beirut, set the city to the watch, and it'll take that slot. Takes a couple of seconds here, and then it matches it up to the watch, puts it into that time slot. You'll see the little animation going across the map. And then you get the confirmation, and you'll see it on the watch and you'll see it on the app itself. So now there's a feature here that you'll see on the bottom here, world time and home time. So what I could do is go in there and I could say, if I'm traveling to Hong Kong, I just wanted to make it my primary time while I'm there. So what it's going to do is automatically switch it over. You'll see it on the app, then you'll get the confirmation on the watch, send it over. And then the time is changed. Get the confirmation that says OK. And if I want to switch it back, I just press it again. Go to back to New York time. It switches it up. And that's how you work with the world time. Get the confirmation. Then you have the time and place, and basically if you do a lot of traveling around the world, it uses the smartphone's GPS to basically show you where you've been and some timestamps on what times and dates you've been there. Then you can go to the utility section, and this allows you to change the alarm. So if I wanted to go into alarm 1, I wanted to set an alarm for, let's say, 7:30. It works in 24-hour format here. So if I wanted to set it up for 7:30 in the morning, send it over to the watch, I get a quick confirmation, and the alarm is set. You can turn it on and off, of course. Then you go into the countdown timer, and the countdown timer, of course, is real simple. You can set up to 1 minute, 55 seconds, send it over to the watch, get the confirmation, and that's how you work with the utility section. Now I can go into the top right, and you'll see the gear, and I go into my watch, and this allows you to set up different features on the watch. So for instance, you have the phone finder settings. So this allows me to change the tone. Turn the volume down there. So what happens is if I lose my phone, I press the bottom right hand button for a period of time, and then it sends the tone over to the phone. So this way I can find it easily. Now I have the operating check of auto time adjustment. So basically it uses the phone as an atomic timekeeping clock instead of having to count on the towers, especially if you're not in a good signal area. You have the watch display settings. So it allows you to change it from 12 and 24-hour format, setting the month-day order, so you could change it to where the day would come first of the month, like if you're in Europe, or back and forth between the US and Europe. And then, of course, you could change the settings on what language the watch would display the different settings in. You could set the tone on or off. You could set the time for connecting the app. So in other words, right now we're connected. If I'm not doing anything within 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, it would automatically disconnect to save the battery life of both. You have the time adjustment, of course. So it'll tell you what times it connected to change the time for you. You have the light settings. So you have auto light, where when you tilt your wrist, the light automatically goes on. And then you have a choice of 2 seconds or 4 seconds for the duration that it's lit. You have the power saving settings. So if you keep the watch in a dark place between 10 o'clock and 6 a.m., it automatically enters a power saving state. So this way it would turn off the light, for instance, the auto light mode, the Bluetooth automatic connections. So this way it just saves the battery for you. And then you have the summertime settings. So this way you could set for auto, on or off on daylight savings time. So that's it. And then once you're done, you can just disconnect, or you can just press a button on the watch, and then you're done with working with the application. All right, so now to give you a wrist shot, I of course have 7.5-inch wrists, and this watch fits perfectly. I only had to take 3 links out for it to fit like this. And one thing I'm going to show you is, as far as changing the links out, the nice thing about this versus the titanium is they work with spring bars. So all you have to do is even just take a paper clip, a thin paper clip, you put it in the side there, and you just have to really be careful. Keep your hand to block what you're doing, otherwise the spring bar will pop across the room. But at least the changing is really easy. You can just do it at home. And it's also, of course, got the micro adjustments, so real easy to size and fit for you. All right, so anybody that collects G-Shocks are usually going to have some kind of a square in their collection. I just believe that this is a well-rounded, for lack of a better term, a well-rounded, really good square collection. I really feel it's balanced out at this point. So just to get into the first 2 limited edition versions, you of course have the titanium and the stainless steel with the aged look, of course. The aged look, you're going to notice it's going to be matte all the way around, whereas the titanium, they put a high polish on the inner links. Of course, they have the high polish on the bezel. And then on the rear, you have the brushed on the titanium versus the high polish. Both of them are DLC. But other than that, I mean, they're basically built the same exact way. They're built for tough toughness. They're built for shock protection. All have Bluetooth and all easy to work with. You have the full composite version. Also a negative display, and as you could see, and I don't know if it's just because the screen is shinier, but I just feel that the new stainless steel versions are a lot easier to see than the older composite versions. Not that you can't see it, but the legibility is definitely different between the two of these. Both of them use the spring bars to change the links. The only difference is this is a lot lighter, of course, because of the composite. And then, of course, it's got the 4 screws on the back on this one. So that's the difference between the older, more affordable version. And then, of course, we have the original. Again, the same exact size. Screw back. On the original, it was brushed. And, of course, this is a regular strap versus the bracelet. So that's my collection of squares. Alright, so that's it for my review on the GMW-B5000V. Really like this watch. Like I said, I really like the aged look of it. I like that it's a uniform finish across the board. I really prefer this watch over the original black version. I was not crazy about how they went back and forth between the polishing and the brushed areas. To me, it just didn't meet what I was really wanting. This does. I mean, between the bezel, between the bracelet and the case, everything is nice and uniform. It's a really sharp looking watch. It's very good for any type of a casual wear. Very legible screen. It's got all the great features of the module 3459 that I've just found this to be the best module so far. You know, I would say the only thing that I hope that Casio does in the future, I'm really hoping that with the Bluetooth that they're able to put messaging in, kind of like what they did with the H1000. That would be great, maybe even with a vibrate feature. You know, bring it into smartwatch territory without being a smartwatch. So, again, I want to thank you very much for watching my reviews. If you really like this review, please press the subscribe button. You can press it on the logo on the bottom of the screen or, of course, under the video. If you really like it, please press the bell for notifications of future reviews. You can also find me on Twitter at DougFNJ, and of course a great website called watchyouseek.com. A lot of great people, a lot of great discussion on watches. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I want to thank you very much for watching and all your support. Stay safe, enjoy your holidays, and have a great day.